What's up everyone, welcome back for a new video. Today we are going to do the first installment of a torso limb split. Many of you guys actually asked me to do it, and at first I was a bit against it because for me it was more like a meme split, and actually after my competition I was like, you know what, I have this kind of off time where I can just experiment, and I tried it and it's actually quite interesting. So today this is the arm leg day. I'm doing arms first and then I'm going to do legs last. We started out with reverse grip bench in the Smith. It could have been close grip bench press. It's just that I like this variation. The supination is quite easier on the shoulder joint for me, and it just feels easier to just press straight up instead of like a G curve. The bar path is just more simplified for me. And we do that in supersets yet again with pinwheel curls, or like hammer curl but sideways, to have more bias onto the brachialis. So this is like a curl that is a 3-in-1 that I like to do first, because you're going to do the forearm, you're going to do the biceps and the brachialis, and it's going to be quite low stress-ish onto the elbow tendon. So then when you go into more biceps stuff, you're just more warmed up and there is less risk for any problem, and you have a more thorough development of your arms. I'm currently waiting for a cable station, and then we are going to follow through ASAP. The thing with this split is that you're basically doing somewhat some kind of full body, especially with the arm leg day, because you're working the upper body and then you're working the lower. So muscle wise it might be not a full body, but joint wise it is. So you really have to be mindful volume wise, and also cycle through exercise selection, in a sense that in this specific instance I'm filming this on a Saturday. Tomorrow we come back again together to film the other day, so I'm going to go back to back. It's not the best recovery wise, but I'm still going to make it work, because I have enough option into the gym to make sure to do exercises that are going to not be the same kind of stress and stimuli around the joint and the muscle. And it's also why it's better to be conservative, amongst other things that we're going to see later, with this kind of split than what you could be usually permissive, like with upper lower or PPL or even full body. Because full body you blast everything, do not ask yourself question. Upper lower, well, it's upper lower, so you kind of split it quite evenly, and PPL it's very spread, so there is not much of that overlap problem, or barely. So we are done with arms. We're going to do legs now. I'll start with Romanian deadlift, because I really want to trash hard today my posterior chain, and also because my knee are a bit tender since the prep, since I went really hard and I already had pre-existing issues with my knees. It's more also about being smart and like thoroughly warming up my lower body before going hard onto like quad exercise. But we are done with arms, and usually I do some exercise for forearms, mainly wrist curl and like a more brachioradialis curl, so like reverse curl or like hammer curl. And since here we do not have much time, I don't want to take all this afternoon. We're going straight up into the leg work. And by the way, forearm is not a weak point, and I'm gripping everything. So in a thorough manner, if you really wanted to do the whole arm, technically speaking, you would need another superset or another exercise which would be for forearms. Alright guys, we are done with the RDL and the shrugs. We are now onto the more like really leg-centric portion of the workout. And I am into a pretty interesting leg press that is allowing me to basically have almost no resistance at the bottom of a rep, but a shit ton of it at the top. And it is very key for me right now because my knees are pretty busted because of the prep, as I said earlier. And so they are very sensitive, and I cannot just warm up like normal and just pile on weights and do my squats. Like my knees can barely sustain half of what my leg muscle can, and so I have to listen to them, because if I do not listen, it's going to be even worse and I can snap, or it's going to really be bullshit. So I start with this because the resistance curve make it less stressful at the moment where they are the weakest and the most fragile, and at the moment where they are the most strong or in a better position, this is also where there is the most resistance. So this is actually quite joint friendly in a sense, and so I do the reverse order of what you usually see. I will start with something that have a resistance curve. Here is leg press, but it should be leg extension. I do this first, really have my knees prepared and maybe a little pre-exhaustion on the quads, and then I will do a squat pattern where it's really hard at the bottom but easier at the top. This pre-fatigue will make me sure that I'm not going as heavy as I technically could if I was to do it as the first exercise, so it's going to be safer, and it's also making sure that my joints are better warmed up. As always guys, after a heavy day where you have a lot of spine loading, I always recommend you to decompress your spine. Either you just hang from a chin-up bar, or you go under the stack on a pull-down station, or if you can, you go reverse mode like that. Stretch harder, also brings back the blood and the fluids back into the trunk, and it stretch also like the joint capsule of the hips and the knees, a bit the ankle as well. So it's cool. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support and all the love that you've shared into the comments. Thank you for your trust, and also for waiting for me to come back into YouTube. I've been crazy busy these last few months, and I have a shit ton of things to show you and tell you. But for now, I just want to leave you with a few training footage. And just so you know, this is a type of training that is incredibly interesting, that you can check out for yourself and try out. There is the ebook if you want to try, and if not, I am also available for coaching. Thank you so much, man. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you very soon for another video. Take care.